I actually know how to put a stop to this level of violent crime. The violent crime crisis that is plaguing American cities. I can't say that I can make it disappear totally, but a substantial impact on it after we play a snippet of this video. I'm going to tell you about that. And I'm also going to tell you what they're leaving out of this report because that's kind of important. But let's play a couple seconds of this snippet. It's 7 minutes long. I don't want to play the whole thing, but just get an idea what's going on here. This is the District Attorney of Orleans Parish, that is Orleans County, in Louisiana. And his name is Jason Williams, District Attorney. And let's listen to a few seconds of this interview.
All right, Mr. Williams, first off, how are you and your mother doing after last night's incident?
You know, it's we're very thankful. It could have went sideways very easily. It could have been far worse. My mother's really shook up. She keeps reliving it.
His mom, by the way, is 78 years old.
But we're just thankful that that we're alive. Nobody's hurt.
So the guy was carjacked. Apparently they had, I don't know, semi-automatic weapons. They stole his car, and but what they didn't steal was his fob. That is to say, his key. How far can you get without a key?
Yes, sir. And according to the release, it was 2 armed suspects. Is that correct?
2 armed suspects
Okay.
got out of the car and pointed weapons, mostly at me, some at my mother, and another individual I could see in the driver's seat of the perpetrator's car. I'm not sure if there are others in the car.
Do we have a description of these guys? I think they had a video, security camera somewhere. But so far, I haven't heard a description. I don't know why.
Or not.
And what can you tell us about the suspects?
Okay.
You know, they seem to be young adults.
Okay, they're young adults. He's profiling them as young adults, not old adults.
They were wearing masks.
They were wearing masks.
They didn't appear to be juveniles, but obviously you don't know a person's age in those brief seconds. And they had automatic guns, and happened very quickly.
Yes, sir. And just 30 minutes after you and your mother were targeted, it appears that these same suspects carjacked someone else.
It appears to be the case. I am not micromanaging or even getting in the middle or in front of or in the mix of the investigation. My mother and I were victims in this case, and we thank the NOPD for their hard work last night and every night. I don't want to comment on what things were connected and what things weren't connected. That's the job of the police department.
No, I'm just kind of waiting. I want to hear a profile that describes the suspects.
They did an excellent job last night, and I appreciate their hard work.
Well, apparently he didn't get a very good look at him. But the cameras, they should have gotten a good look at this guy. All right, let's go over to another news story of this. And they give a little bit of a different view here. This is my go-to website often, thegatewaypundit.com. Oh, here's what they left out. Soros-backed district attorney carjacked at gunpoint after dismissing 66% of all violent felony cases during his first months in office. I just wonder, these nondescript young adults in ski mask with automatic weapons, if they were among the 66%. Among those cases that were dismissed by this guy who was carjacked and his elderly mom, so respect Orleans Parish District Attorney Jason Williams and his 70-year-old mother were carjacked at gunpoint late last month. Williams was helping his mother into the car when armed masked men held them up at gunpoint and took off with the elderly woman's belongings. Because young men need old lady stuff. Well, maybe, if she has a cell phone, probably so. They can fence that, I guess. He said the gun was pointed directly at him, and, he was really bothered by it.
Have sat and listened to crime victims.
He said he thought about the murder cases.
Okay, here's the video. Let me see if I can make this a little bit bigger.
Offices. Orleans District Attorney Jason Williams, wearing the orange shirt in this video at the very moment a pair of carjackers point guns at him and his 78-year-old mom. In an interview just 12 hours after Williams was carjacked Tuesday night in the Lower Garden District, he said the masked gunmen were just a couple of feet away.
That hole seems a whole lot bigger when it's pointed directly at you.
What's running through your head when a gun is pointed at you?
It is every bit as horrific as it sounded when I have sat and listened to crime victims.
He said he thought about.
Well, this guy was driving, I think he was driving a Lincoln, not a Continental. What is the Lincoln SUV? I forget what they call it. So apparently he's getting paid fairly well. And these carjackers said, hey, we'd like to have that. So what they are leaving out that, I just mentioned was, he's dismissed like 66% of these cases. One more time for emphasis. Williams was carjacked at gunpoint after he campaigned on social justice reform and dismissed more than 66%. Why did they do this? He put his own mother at risk. Does he not understand that? That's my opinion. Maybe he didn't. Maybe having gunmen pointing guns at your mom is not really all that risky. And maybe the social justice element of this, that, these kids, if they're convicted, they're going to have a felony on their record for the rest of their life. And it's going to impact them. It's going to impact their ability to earn a living or maybe get enrolled in school somewhere. But maybe it's supposed to, But that's not the way these guys see it. These guys being the far left. Sorry about the silly ads, but that's part of stuff that you see on the screen. That's just part of it. All right. Now, I promised you that I was going to share with you how to solve the crime problem in the United States and just about everywhere else on the planet. And it's real simple. I mean, it is so simple you're not going to believe it. What you do is you take people who are criminals, who are psychopaths, who are narcissists, that dark triad, Machiavellian element, and you discourage them from making babies. And so they don't pass on that genetic element. So you have fewer criminals, fewer people with those personality types. And by the way, not all psychopaths are bad people. Some of them are just kind of pushy. And sometimes you need that leadership element to make society work, particularly in big business. And there's nothing wrong with having, people say that Donald Trump is a narcissist and a psychopath, and he probably is. But I'm okay with that because he's not a bad guy. But they tend to be bad people, most of them. Criminals, street criminals. So part one is you discourage them from making babies. Don't give them welfare money. Don't pay for their for their child care. Because all you're doing is literally paying them to reproduce, duplicate themselves. Here we go, society, more little criminals to be. Number two are people who don't have those traits. Or people who may be narcissistic and psychopathic, but they're not criminals. Those people, or people who are not psychopaths, those people who are law-abiding, hardworking, intelligent, innovative, know how to get along with people. You know, the white picket fence neighborhoods, those people where you don't get a lot of police calls, those people where you don't have thugs robbing you and your mama and stealing your, I think it's a Navigator, is what I was trying to think of before, stealing your Lincoln Navigator. I'm just pausing to wonder why he didn't buy an Escalade, but maybe I like Navigators, you know, I like Escalade. I'd like to have a salary so I can afford one. But the people live in these neighborhoods where the police do nothing but drive around and make sure, somebody didn't accidentally leave their door unlocked at their business. Those people, well, probably the people who built virtually every neighborhood in America, those people, you know, I'm talking about law-abiding people, encourage them to make lots and lots and lots and lots of babies. Because what will happen is they will pass on their genes. Genetic duplication. So a generation or two, the criminal elements in our society will not disappear, but they'll be depleted. It's called attrition, you know. And the law-abiding element of our society will pass on their genetic code. And not just law-abiding, but, you know, intelligent, innovative, people who know how to play by the rules and know how to make the rules fair, people who are not corrupt criminals, who make a living by being innovative or working hard or both. People like Elon Musk, don't call him Ellen, makes him mad. Elon Musk, people like that, encourage him to make babies. I mean, okay, I got to admit that I've never called Elon Musk and said, you know, you need to make more babies. But probably not a bad idea. But people with that mindset, that personality, do you disagree with me on that? Well, that's why we have a comment section. If you do agree with me, still you can leave comments. Makes for interesting conversation. And I read all the comments that you leave on this channel because we're still small enough that I can do that. While you leave a comment, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up. And if you've not yet subscribed to our YouTube channel, this is your opportunity, a reminder to please do that. And we will see you all next time.
I'm in this case, and we.